This is the Value Wrestling for Revolutionary Force in Wrestling Podcasting. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are live with the Value Wrestling with our WWE Payback 2023 review live back on Facebook. I'm the big time, along with my partners in crime right here at the Value Wrestling. Of course, the co-founder of this wonderful place. There you go. And our New Japan, let's try that again. My co-conspirator in this game, the partner of founding the Value of Wrestling.
Thomas Clark.
There we go. And of course, our New Japan Pro Wrestling expert, our hotshot guy over on Spotify, is with us tonight in this review. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Miguel Z.
All right. We are here, and what a night. What a night. Gentlemen, how do you feel about tonight? Minus the big announcements that came out earlier today. But let's focus on WWE Payback.
Can we see that cage match went exactly as I thought it was going to go?
Oh, well, yeah, I died with it. Cage match was what it was. I mean, I don't know. That's a different story there. I mean, overall, I think, it was a pretty good card. I think we had some great matches. And, it came out, again, low points, high points. We'll break it all down for you here. But just opening thoughts. Mr. Paulus, your opening thoughts on tonight.
It was a show. Some things you expected, some things you didn't.
I would tend to agree. I think it was a pretty good show overall. I think WWE worked to book this pay-per-view pretty well. Maybe you didn't like every card that was lined up on this match. Maybe you weren't really wanting to get into every card in this match. But I think overall, we, got a fairly good event. So, I guess we will start by breaking it down by jumping right. Oops. Go ahead.
I was going to say, the street fight was very entertaining. I give him that one. I can give him that one on that.
The street fight was definitely a good match. I think this card picked up later in the night than really in the beginning. I think it was a little slow to get off, but I think we definitely got where we needed to be. So, we opened the night with, why do I have weird... I have no clue why this is all in here, but okay, cool. Let's go ahead and just... My notes are all screwed up now. Anyways, let's get to it. Anyways, we opened the match up with a steel cage match. Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch, a storyline that many people have felt has gone on for way too long. But it looks like after tonight, we finally wrapped up all the loose ends and put this to bed as we see different stories that came out of this. So anyways, we open the match. We get Becky Lynch coming down the ring. We get Trish Stratus in the ring. In the moments between this, we get Tiffany Stratton, the NXT Women's Champion, sitting at ringside. I'm kind of like, well, that's no Mercedes Moné, but hey, we'll take what we can get, right? So, we start off the match as you pretty much expect. Trish tried to quickly escape through the door and then up the cage. And then eventually Becky got Trish back down, and Trish wound up meeting all four corners of the ring with her head. And then we wound up seeing Becky hit 3 exploders. This match seemed to really blow out at first, and thought maybe this wasn't going to be a very long match. But again, it turned into a back and forth match. Trish blocked a manhandle slam, runs to climb out of the ring, but Becky is up to stop her. And then this is when we finally see Becky get smashed into the cage, and Trish turns around and she does her taunts. Trish gets in control with it was kind of a spine buster. It was kind of like she grabbed her by the legs, a power bomb spine buster, a leg sweeping spine buster. I don't know what you nearly call it. Becky went down for a 2 count. Again, Trish tries to escape like a heel would. Becky stops her, and we go back and forth. We're at that point where Becky's trying to get the disarmer on Trish, but Trish escapes and tries to get out of the cage again. They're up on the top rope, and this eventually winds up into like a top rope power bomb. And then this is where everything got really confusing for me, because the fans are chanting, "This is awesome," and I'm like, "What? Did I miss something? What did they do that's awesome? Awesome what? Awesome Kong? Was Awesome Kong in the building and nobody told me? I don't know. They started chanting, "This is awesome," and I'm like, okay, the standards in Pittsburgh tonight are going to be low. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the Steel City tonight. If I didn't announce that, we are in Pittsburgh, PA, for this match. So, anyways, then we get the treat of Trish Stratus hitting a Widow's Peak, and then we are told that the first women's steel cage match was between Victoria and Lita. So this was the throwback to Victoria. Of course, then we turn around and saw Becky Lynch hit a twist of faith on Trish, throwback to Lita. So Becky's up and tries to move, but looks like... Becky gets up and she makes a move off the rope. I don't know, she lands kind of funky. It looks like she twisted her knees. And this is where Trish hits the Stratisfaction off the ropes for a 2 9/10 count. I mean, that was as close as you could get. Trish tries to escape again, and Becky gets her down. Oh, this is where Becky tries to get the first manhandle slam off the top rope. But they both wind up going up the cage or climbing up the cage. Trish gets almost over. She almost has both feet over. And then she's sitting up on the cage and somehow slips her foot and legs into the cage. Not over the cage, but into the cage. Gets walloped, and then she's hanging upside down like a piece of meat in a cold locker. So Trish is hanging upside down, and Becky's on top of the cage, and why, I don't know, Becky didn't just climb out and get it over with. I mean, she's hanging there. It's going to be a lot harder. Anyways, Becky eventually gets her back up, and then they hit a superplex in a real funky way. Trish was kind of on top of the cage. Becky was on the top rope. This got a 2 count. And then we got more "This is awesome" chants. I'm like, well, okay, maybe there was a little bit of awesomeness in just that little segment, but I don't know if it was really that awesome. Like, you might want to save those more for later in the night. Trish makes a move to the door, and now we have, Becky stops her, but this is when Trish makes a move for the door, and this is when Zoe Stark shows up, and so now we get the strangest moment of probably tonight. We get a tug-of-war fight between Zoe Stark and Becky Lynch, and Trish Stratus is the rope that they're playing tug-of-war with. So, anyways, so they get Becky gets Trish back in the ring, and then goes to yell at Zoe. Zoe slams the door in her face. She turns around, ducks a chick kick. Then we go in for a manhandle slam for a 1-2, and Zoe starts back in to break up the pin. And Zoe turns around and shuts the cage door, and then Becky and Zoe start fighting as Trish is trying to escape. Quickly, Becky hits a manhandle slam on Zoe, and then brings Trish back in off the top of the cage there, and hits her with a manhandle slam from the top of the top rope for the 1, 2, 3, and we are all spared any more of this really, really interesting match. Anyways, we'll cover the aftermath. After the match, we saw Zoe and Trish argue in the ring. Trish slapped Zoe, and Zoe seems to kind of blow it off. They keep going back and forth. Zoe looks to leave the cage, but then decides she's going to slam the door, turns around, gets slapped by Trish again, and then Zoe takes out Trish. I forget what Zoe Stark's move's actually called, but yeah. Zoe takes out Trish and walks off, and Trish is laying in the ring. Gentlemen, Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, ending the feud finally in a steel cage. Looks like Trish Stratus is going to face, maybe have a feud with Zoe Starks from here out. We'll talk about more of what's going to happen with Becky Lynch's future in a moment. But where we are right now, thoughts, comments, concerns.
I'm a little bit jealous of the wrestling ring itself. I mean, it actually got headshots from Trish Stratus.
Well, that ring got more action than... No, never mind. I'll hold my pause right there. So,
I,
yes.
honestly, I don't know where to start other than the fact that the crowd was looking for anything to chant. Honestly, let's be real here. It's Pittsburgh,
Yes.
but I mean, I guess we could be happy that that feud's done because honestly, from point A to point B, it just was lackluster to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I don't think it was a great match. It was a match. It did okay. It ended the feud, but I felt it kind of dragged on and was kind of slow paced. But it was a match. I think Becky's lost a lot of the mojo coming off of her heel back to face turn, and Trish Stratus is just kind of living on borrowed time. I think, at least for her wrestling career. I just feel that she's. I don't know how much more she can really give. So.
Yeah, I'm thumbing through notes, and I'm trying to find a bright spot, but I feel like I'm reaching.
Oh, I know the bright spot. When the bell went ding, 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 and we heard, and your winner, Becky Lynch.
Yeah. Okay.
How much
I'm all
brighter
good
you
with
need
that.
it to be. Anyways, then we hear that
Like this
beautiful.
light. No,
Then we heard that beautiful music that we haven't heard since, well, at least last night. But anyways, Cena's music hits. He comes out, same shirt, same towel, same everything. I didn't know if I was watching a review of SmackDown or if this was actually live for a minute there. So he comes out and talks about how it's great to be back, how it's great to be around the fans, and how he is very interested in one particular match and wants to be the special guest referee for this one match. And he tells us he's going to be the special guest referee for The Miz and LA Knight. Yeah. Anyways, this brings out The Miz, and The Miz and him go back and forth. They kind of argue. They got some great points in there. Cena's kind of playing up to The Miz, like, what should I do? I know you're such a great host. What steps should I take? Of course, The Miz first tells Cena, yeah, well, if you're ever offered a movie role where you play a merman, that's when you should say no. So, if anybody's seen the Barbie movie, then they know all about Merman Cena. I've not had the pleasure of taking that movie in, nor do I think I have the desire, but we shall see. Anyways, they go back and
I'll
forth.
have to ask the girls.
Miz tells Cena he doesn't know how to dress. He comes out here in a suit, and Cena comes out like this. Cena's like, I've been doing this forever. And Miz calls him a Teletubby. So we have a nice old throwback there about Teletubbies. Miz and Cena go back and forth.
50 years old and you're dressing like the Teletubby.
The Miz, of course, tells Cena that he should make decisions and take action. And Cena's like, so making myself the special guest referee in your match? Miz is like, no. Then Miz busts out and goes, well, you don't even have a ref shirt. And, of course, all of a sudden, here's a ref shirt being handed to Cena in the ring. Cena puts on the shirt, and guess what? We hear L.A. Knight. And here comes L.A. Knight out to the ring. And so we're getting The Miz versus the L.A. Knight with a special guest referee, John Cena. So Knight's in the ring, Miz won't get in, and the match starts off, of course, with the newest catchphrase, a chant, tiny balls, tiny balls, tiny balls. So we get tiny balls chants, of course.
Yeah, just a little bit.
You're up for that.
Oprah.
Oh, I thought you said you're up for that. I'm like, okay, well, to each their own.
I thought you guys were talking about me for a second.
Jeez.
I guess it's better to be over that than under that, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
My question is, do you think Vince McMahon with the grape cojones sits backstage and compares his to Miz since they're tiny?
Versus the big grapefruits? Who knows?
Anyways, so we get LA Knight's in the ring. We get the chant. Miz finally gets in the ring, and then he rolls right back out. And then the Knight sits on the middle rope and invites Miz right back in the ring. Says, "Come on." Miz then looks to just leave, give up on the match, just walk out. The Knight chases him out, brings him back in, and we get it back and forth. We get several of these maneuvers. We get a skull crushing finale, reverse into a BFT, reverse so Miz rolls out. Knight, of course, follows him and decides to use Miz's head like a basketball off the announce table for several rounds. And that's when No, and that's all why the crowd chanting, yeah, Miz's head, yeah, yeah. So we got that. Knight rolls back in the ring to break up the count, and then he comes back out, and the Miz gets the upper hand, knocks him on the announce table, and we get some more back and forth. Eventually, we wind up seeing the scene where Knight and Cena are kind of facing off, having words between one another. Miz comes from outside the ring, attacks from the back. Miz goes for a pin, but nah, it didn't work out. We get another skull-crushing finale reversed into a roll-up for a pin for 2. Knight is now in the corner. Miz charges in, kind of the Bryan Danielson-esque with the clothesline, jumps to the ropes. This is where Miz is sitting on the second rope, and LA Knight gets a hold of him and kind of goes for, I don't know, Cole called it a spinning neck breaker. Graves called it a DDT.
It was a DDT, but you're right. He called it.
So,
it was a DDT, but they called it a neck breaker for some reason.
Well, Cole called it a spinning neck breaker, and then Corey Graves later referred to it as a DDT. So,
well, I mean, if you look at the move, you saw what it was.
It was kind of a spinning DDT type of thing. I get both ways that it was in there, but to each your own. Eventually, Miz gets a roll up on LA Knight, and then he grabs the rope. Cena goes for a 1, 2, and he looks up as the best referee ever. He sees a hand on the rope and goes, no. So this allows Miz and Cena to argue. LA Knight tries to come from behind. This reverses into an SCF or skull crushing finale, which is then reversed into a BFT or blunt force trauma.
Blunt force trauma.
Which is backed out, and then he starts running. He almost hits Cena. And then we get this skull-crushing finale. The Miz hits the skull-crushing finale for a 2 count. It did seem like Cena kind of counted really slow on that one. It really did seem like Cena was like, go way back here, 1, 2. So, LA Knight kicks out on that one. Miz gets Knight down, starts to mock Cena like he's going to go for the 5-knuckle shovel. Knight turns around, gets up, and drops the LA Knight elbow. I don't know what we call it. It's kind of a mix between a people's elbow, a high elbow, all the type of things there. And then finally, Knight hits that beautiful blunt force trauma, the BFT, and LA Knight is your winner. Of course, after the match, we get some back and forth. Cena and Knight get up to the end of the ramp. They're having words back and forth. Cena puts out his hand. LA Knight's kind of not trusting him, and then Cena says it's for respect. They eventually shake hands and they walk out. So, gentlemen, LA Knight, Miz, good promo, a good program overall, a decent match for what we expect. Any thoughts, comments, or concern?
I thought it was actually a pretty decent match.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I think that they matched each other well.
Solid dance partners.
Yeah, no,
Solid dance partners. I'll take it.
I was excited to see this match when it hit off.
Their whole... Someone needs to raise a hand, I guess.
We're not in 5th grade. I know we're going to talk over everybody. I don't know. I haven't figured a way to, prevent us talking over one another. So it's just kind of like we're just going to have to roll with it. As you were saying, though.
Yeah, no, the whole build-up, this whole rivalry they've had this whole time, I've enjoyed it. It's been very entertaining from promo to promo, even leading up to this match. And with Cena involved, it made it a little more interesting to me.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. I think the storyline is good. I don't know if we're having this feud continue or what's going to happen from here, but we shall see. We then saw the Pittsburgh Steelers in the audience with the new WWE Pittsburgh Steelers title. Every NFL team now has a WWE title except Jacksonville. This was originally announced, and then Jacksonville was originally on the list, and then it said it was sold out, and now they've been completely removed. Don't know why the Jacksonville Jaguars can't have their own WWE title belt. I mean, why would you not want to have one for your Jacksonville Jaguar? I have no clue. I mean, you would think that owner would know something better, It's not like his first name's Tony, but
I mean, there are Jacksonville Jaguars fans.
Yes. Well, yes, WWE.
There are some fans out there.
WWE and Jacksonville Jaguar fans want their belt, I don't know. They might have to call up some other wrestling company that might be able to do it for them. I don't know. So, anyways, this led us into a match that was, it was all right. I don't think it was a great match. It was decent. It really, I don't know, depends on what they're going to do from here. We got the U.S. title match, Austin Theory versus Rey Mysterio. this was pretty much Austin Theory was pretty much in control for the entirety of this match. There wasn't really a whole lot of details or great moves. There was some back and forth, but it was really Austin's match. I mean, he controlled most of this match. He kept trying to keep Ray down, of course, and doing good. They did go back and forth. Rey Mysterio tried to hit the 619 like last time, but Theory got his knees up. Theory went to go for A-Town down, but Mysterio was able to reverse that into a roll-up, and your winner and still United States Champion, Rey Mysterio. It was an okay match. I don't think they did. I think the first match was a little better. This match was just kind of, nah. I don't think there was anything great or anything bad about it, but it was mostly a match for Theory to look good. Mysterio won, yes, but it was mostly Theory showing off his capabilities because it was really a showcase for Theory, yeah.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen,
my question is, obviously the LWO came out with before Rey Mysterio. Did anyone catch what the PWO shirt was about? Like what they actually stood for?
Pittsburgh World Order, just like the Detroit World Order. They're just doing cities. Remember when they did the DWO and we said something?
Okay.
It was just Detroit World Order, Pittsburgh World Order. They're just doing the local areas that they're in to get a pop and sell.
Gotcha, local market. Okay.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
If there's one in Sacramento, I'll make sure to bring it back with me.
I don't know if anybody do any of us really want to be part of the Sacramento World Order?
I'd just bring it back for shits and giggles.
Right.
And if they come out with a Stockton World Order shirt, I think me and Mr. Paulus here already have rights to that title, so that's a whole different story. We'll go back to 1990 and rewrite history if they need that for a fact. But hey, that's a story for a different day. Overall, it was good. The LWO, huh?
Oh, never mind.
Okay, making a comment. Anywho, the LWO came out to celebrate. I'm really assuming that we're going to get a return to a heel turn for Escobar and his boys. It was good to see the other members of the LWO showcased on SmackDown last night, I believe. That they got a match sometime on TV because it's been a while. Of course, they kind of got beat down, but that's okay. I'm assuming Escobar's going to turn on Rey for that title. My only question is I don't know where Zelina Vega is going to fall in that. If she's going to still be LWO and go back heel, or I don't know. I think they're going to be pushing her up the card somewhere. They're starting to really highlight her. But overall, this match was basically a showcase for Austin to look good and keep the belt around Mysterio. What we go from here, I can only assume it's going to be Escobar versus Rey Mysterio, which is kind of disappointing because it's like Escobar was heel. You kind of turned him face out of nowhere because you didn't know what to do with him, and now we're building a storyline so he can go back heel, and it's just kind of like... Are we going to start calling Escobar Big Show Jr. or Little Show or something like that?
Oh, man. I got nothing.
Well, I mean, I think Show has the record for the most turns in the company, right? And
Absolutely.
We're not talking about left-right turns either.
Face heel alignment.
Anyways, after that match, we got the backstage interview with Becky Lynch. Of course, she was interrupted by Tiffany Stratton, who offered her apologies for saying on NXT how she respected all the former women's NXT women's champions and named Becky Lynch, but then she realized that Becky Lynch was never an NXT women's champion. So the rumors seem to be true. It looks like Becky Lynch is headed to NXT after this storyline. Trish is going to face Zoe Starks, and Becky Lynch is going to go face Tiffany Stratton to possibly become the next NXT Women's Champion and mark that off her bucket list, because I don't know what else you do with Becky Lynch, and maybe that'll help bring some eyes to NXT and bring it up to a level that'll be, something. I don't know.
What it was.
We shall see.
It'll bring it up more. I mean, like I said, it'll never be a complete third brand because it's always going to have that developmental element. But it'll at least bring star power higher, potentially.
Yeah. They're pretty much going to do the same thing like they did with Finn Balor. I mean, hell, even Baron Corbin's getting over at this point.
Fair.
Whatever happened to that happy guy? I don't know.
He's somewhere in Vegas.
Does he still have his money, or did he lose it all again?
I don't know. Maybe your cat took.
Hi. Welcome to the party. Animals,
Someone always
life,
trying to
and
steal
go.
the show.
Animals, life, and going live. It's unpredictable, just like they say. You never know what's going to happen when you're live. Live. Thank you. Have a nice night. Anyways, that leads us into probably one of the better matches of the night. Definitely a contender for one of the two best matches of the night, I think. Anyways, we got the Judgment Day, Finn Balor, Damian Priest versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the undisputed World Tag Team titles in a Steel City street fight, because we're in Steel City. It's Pittsburgh, because we are in Pittsburgh, and it's true. It's true. It's damn true. And if you do know, then you know, and if you don't, well, we'll talk about that later. Anyways, the bell rings and everyone is fighting. The battle is outside. Sami and Kevin would come out of nowhere with trash cans and just beat the snot out of them. Of Judgment Day. The match goes back and forth. Eventually, Judgment Day gets control. Priest pulls out a stack of chairs, which Cole says he doesn't know why he needs that many chairs. Something like 12 chairs. Balor's beating on Sami on the top of the announce table. KO goes on on one of his great attacks, beating down Priest. And then we get a chair shot on Priest. And then Balor takes a chair shot to Owens. And then Sami Zayn in the ring and starts nailing Balor with the chair. And we're going back and forth. And suddenly, Dirty Dom shows up. We have Dominic Mysterio's out. And things just got dirty. And I know Dutch Mantel is somewhere having an aneurysm over that. Judgment Day.
Word.
So Judgment Day is out in force. They're all celebrating. And all of a sudden, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn pop out. And they're in full hockey Pittsburgh Penguins gear with hockey sticks included. And they start beating the Judgment Day down. They wind up at the front of the ramp. And then there's Dirty Dom, who's gotten one of the hockey sticks, but he's all alone with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Finally, the gloves come off, and Owens and Zayn unload on the dirty one. And then we eventually get Priest holding Sami against the ropes, Balor with the chair, but Sami kicks the chair out of his hands. Owen comes in, pulls Priest off the ring apron, dropping him to the ground. Sami hits a Blue Thunder Bomb hits a Blue Thunder Bomb on the chairs for a 2 count. And finally we get crowd chants. This is awesome, where it actually belongs for a little bit. So for once it actually makes sense. So we got the Blue Thunder Bomb on the Finn Balor through the chairs. We get a 2 count before Priest jumps in and breaks it up. He then slams Sami onto the chairs. Kevin in to break it up with a chair. Priest tosses Sami out, and Priest is now holding Owens. Balor with a drop kick, but Owens is, of course, fighting back. They get to the outside around the announce table. Corey Graves leaps over the barricade and jumps out in the audience and runs around the corner to get away from it. Eventually the fight, Balor, Priest, Owens all spill out into the crowd. Priest and Balor are beating Owens down, and out of nowhere Sami comes back into the fight. And then we get around to the pre-announce table, the pre-show announce table, and Sami takes one of those chairs on wheels and just slides it right into Damian Priest. So, and then we get Sami up on the show table for the pre-show, and he jumps off of that, does a dive, takes out Judgment Day. And, of course, finally, Dirty Dom is back, and Dirty Dom's back, and he must escape the hands of, Dutch Mantel on this one. So, anyways, Dom winds up on the table. Dom gets laid out on the table like Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens climbs up to the top of the stairwell that we've seen so many times, the ECW style, climbing up on the higher end there, and does a swanton bomb down through Dirty Dom, through the table, and we get a holy shit chant. Balor charges at Zayn in the ring. Zayn turns it into a exploder suplex. Zayn sets up for a huluva kick, but Priest throws a trash can, and Sami starting to charge directly at Sami Zayn. Priest and Balor look to finish this. They're talking back and forth about finishing this. And Zayn gets out and knocks Balor off. Oh, they're going to go finish it. Balor's up on the top rope. Sami gets up and knocks Balor off the top rope. It's floater to Priest. Balor's knocked off the ring, and Balor's now up on the apron on the ring, gets knocked out by, I think, Owens, and falls through a table. Zayn is setting up for another huluva kick, and he runs into Damian Priest, who grabs him and gets him set up for a South of Heaven. But Owens comes in, hits Priest with a stunner. Sami hits a huluva kick, and we're going for the 1, 2, oh, no. Now we have J.D. McDonough to come in and save Priest. Owens then beats down, takes out McDonough. he's coming around the corner when Rhea Ripley out of nowhere running, just charging Bobby Lashley style, or maybe a Braun Strowman choo-choo train run, and nails a spear on Owens through the barricade, and everyone is out. Balor's in the ring, Sammy's in the ring. Balor winds up hitting a sling blade, a drop kick into the corner, and he goes up to hit the coup de grace, but he misses. Sami Zayn gets out of the way, hits him with a exploder, then hits a huluva kick, and then Dom, with the Money in the briefcase, breaks up the pin, knocking out Sami, pulling Balor on top of Sami for a 1, 2, 3, and in a shocker of what probably wouldn't have been predicted, we have new WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions in Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest. So, gentlemen, we probably had one of the better matches of the night. It definitely did not go the way I would have predicted it. I did not see Judgment Day winning these titles. I thought this would have continued the storyline for Balor and Priest. But no, we have new tag team champions. Thoughts, comments, or concern?
Rhea Ripley running through Kevin Owens was possibly the highlight of the night.
Yeah, well, she pulled off her Braun Strowman impression there. And has anybody gotten some? Hey, is SmackDown is it a SmackDown show in Sacramento?
Yeah.
Okay, make sure you bring a bar of soap, because if you see Dom, you need to make sure you give him some soap so he doesn't have to be dirty anymore. That
the
or take
older
a
we
sign.
get also means the older that.
Oh.
Go ahead.
The older we get also means the older the people we watch on TV are getting. And watching Kevin Owens do his best Jeff Hardy impression with that swanton dive, I was just like, oh my God, why? It's like watching Sting. Like, you don't have to necessarily do these things anymore, people.
Well, at least it looked better than the last few Jeff Hardy's tried to hit.
Okay, fair.
Right, yeah. Good point.
Either
I didn't expect him to win the belts.
Yeah, no, I didn't either.
But he did.
That, or we need to create a sign for
okay.
him to take to SmackDown that says Dutch wants his name back. You know.
Yeah, there you go. I'll make sure to make that.
Anyway, so we got Judgment Day.
There have been plenty of people with the name Dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty White Boy.
Before, during, and after Dutch.
Dirty
Word.
Danny Dorian.
Word!
Yeah. Well, I think Dutch beats both of those. I don't remember for sure. Dutch has been around, and he's been dirty for a long time. But hey, that's okay.
Got an impressive mustache from that one.
Yes. Of course, for some of us, the question might be, what type of dirty are they being dirty for?
I don't think I want to know.
We'll leave it at that.
Oh. Can't put people on blast. Anyways, that was that. Then we got the big announcement in September, and I guess it's important to put out there. It's Connor Cure Month. It's Pediatric Careness Awareness Month. So they announced that the top donors this year, I guess, are going to get to meet either Cody Rhodes or Bianca Belair. So if you're interested in that, you can check out WWE.com, find out about Connor's Cure, where to donate, what to buy. If you've got kids, it probably means a little more to you than if you don't have kids, luckily. By the blessing of God, all my kids are good and healthy. So it's not something that's a deep concern, but I know that a lot of people out there face this, and as a parent, that would be very hard and very tragic. I'm a big supporter of St. Jude's, so I definitely get it. But, we here at the Value Wrestling respect Connor's Cure and the Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. So if you can, go out and donate. If we can find a link at some point, we may link it in our descriptions at some point, just so we have a link to support a cause like that. Because when it comes to kids, man, as a parent, if you're a parent, you really know you'll do anything for your kids, and that, anything.
Yeah, that's true.
And sometimes you don't have to be a parent. You can be an uncle. You can be connected to a lot of kids, and I know you still care, even if you're not a direct parent. So, Anyways, and then of course I guess they have slap bracelets back because Corey Graves was slapping a slap bracelet for Connor's cure when we came back to the announce table. And again, we got the new vignette for the new WWE NFL titles. And yeah, so you can go get your favorite NFL team and a WWE title. Unless you're a Jacksonville fan, then you're SOL. And all I can tell you is go ahead and call the Jacksonville Jaguars owner up. I think his last name is Khan. And tell him that you really
No, you can tweet him.
Oh, tweet a Khan. Just make sure it's not a Nick Khan because he can't really do much for you. And tell them that you want WWE to have the right to make Jacksonville world titles. Because we need Jacksonville world titles, right? I mean, what other company would be able to come up and make their own Jacksonville Jaguars world title? I mean, there's not another wrestling company out there that could do that, right? No? Am I wrong? I don't know.
No.
Anywho.
Hey,
we gotta have
do it
fun.
anyways.
We gotta have fun. This is not about being.
Well, I know a guy that can make that Jacksonville belt, but he does it for very cheap. So I don't know how bad you want it.
No. Are you sure it's a guy, not a kid, and it's not coming from China? I mean, never mind. China's great. We love China here. Yes. YouTube. Yes, we know. Anywho. This is the value of wrestling. We love to have fun here. We're not going to be serious jerk-offs who are going to be angry and screaming at you all the time and whatnot just because we don't agree. We're not going to just block you off the channel. You know, we're not over like some of the bigger names in different places, but hey, you know, we're here to have fun and we want you to have fun.
We're not going to try to put you in a sleeper.
Hey, we do not do chokeholds here, okay? There will be no choking. Keep your hands to yourself. Do not pull a CM Punk, okay? We don't tolerate that type of stuff here. If we got to get there, we're all gonna.
What if that's for it?
We're all gonna hold hands and sing "Kumbaya" until everybody gets along. Do not make me build, get a retreat going so we can have team building time, because that's what you do.
I have a get along shirt that I give to my kids.
There you go.
They also have get along time. It's no longer time out. It's get along time.
Mm-hmm. If you put them in the shirt.
Okay.
Oh, one of those like big shirts where they. Oh wow. Okay.
Did no one see the picture of Priest and Balor in one? It's a great shirt.
No, I can imagine it now.
It's okay as long as the owner of the company doesn't come on TV and look scared shitless. But anyways, we won't go there.
I'm
That's
afraid
how
for
the
my life.
boogeyman- Yes, I was afraid for my life. I've never seen that before. Anyways, we're back to WWE. This is Payback. We're the value of wrestling. We're here again. We love having fun. We want you to join us. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. We at least got 2 people watching us, so that's something awesome. Unless it's put your Dark Order hand down.
We've got his hand up.
This is not AEW time.
Join us.
Join us. Okay, careful. We don't want to get copyright infringement. We don't want to be on the bad side of TK. He might hire us if we get on his bad side. I mean, fire us. I mean, never mind.
My pockets are pretty empty, so I mean, I could use reference, right?
The value of wrestling, where we all are members of the Dark Order. No, nobody else joined. Okay, there we go. All right, we got 2. There we go. Yay. we vowed our allegiance to what's left of the Dark Order. Tony, we're in. Just give us a call.
Really.
Hey, I'm a Johnny Hungy fan. I can't help it.
Johnny makes you hungry? What?
He's the most entertaining guy I've ever seen.
What a save! What a save!
The most entertaining
Atta
guy
boy.
you've ever seen. Okay, well, we know where he stands. Sorry, LA Knight, he does not find you entertaining.
Well, hold on. Did I break
Hold
something?
on to what? Oh, wait, never mind.
Also, remember, we're live.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
There's
there's no pausing. There's no
that's fine. No.
timeouts.
That's fine. That's fine. I just not something fell over.
There's
Not
no
important.
crying in wrestling, okay? Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Value of Wrestling in the Payback review. and I always say that because I was reading that, after the titles, we got the preview for NXT No Mercy. So there you go. No Mercy coming up. Then we got the big video package footage for Cody Rhodes. If you haven't seen the Cody Rhodes documentary, I highly recommend you go see it. It was a good show. And so we finally get to the highlight of the night here. We get the Grayson Waller effect, and the whole world changed when we got here. So anyways, here's Cody, and of course we get the announcement there's more than one royal family in professional wrestling. Like the Von Erich, Sabriscoes, the INOE, I don't know who he's referring to.
The Hearts.
Oh yeah, the Hearts. Yeah, you can't forget the Hearts, And then of course we get the best part of the night, though. Whoa! Yes. And
How did
Pittsburgh's
that one
alive.
word get over so damn much?
Well, he did it without trying, so. Yeah, no?
True.
Give him that credit.
So we get Cody Chance in Pittsburgh, and we get him sitting down at the desk, and he goes, so Pittsburgh, what do you want to talk about? And nope, Grayson Waller cuts him off and says no one cares about what Pittsburgh wants to talk about. Waller says they want to talk about what he wants to talk about. And he talks about Cody's up and downs, how Cody begged him to be on the Grayson Waller effect. And Waller calls Cody a kid. So anyways, Cody starts talking, and then he starts listening off the previous shows that, have made the Waller effect, like the Piper's Pit, the Barbershop. For me, I think a few more should have been in there, like the Heartbreak Hotel, the Funeral Parlor, maybe the KO show, amongst many other shows that have been out there. I think he left off some big ones. Yes, I would agree the Piper's Pit was probably one of the better ones and one of the original ones, but there's been, the Heartbreak Hotel was good. The Funeral Parlor was interesting. We all loved the Barbershop as kids until Sean put Barney through the glass, and that was kind of the end of the Barbershop. We never saw it again. Of course, I think that's also because the barber became the booty man, or did he become Brute Eye, or
Later
did
on,
he, or did into the Zodiac?
All the above.
Did the man with no name, and then what was it?
The Disciple.
The Disciple, and then Man of Many Names. Anywho.
In that one promotion, way too many gimmicks.
Cody came over and asked, Cody said, he came on the Waller effect, but it wasn't for the rub. But he's here to give Waller a scoop, and we were talking about SmackDown. And Cody says there's a wrong that he saw recently on SmackDown that he wants to make right. And so Cody gets up, and he announces the newest member of Monday Night Raw roster. Ladies and gentlemen, main event Jey Uso. And like that, 2 weeks later, Jey is back, but he's not one. He's not one of the ones. He's the one and only. Oh no, wait, that's Ricochet. He is the main event one. So, Jey Uso comes out. Jey is back, and I really, I was shocked because the whole internet told me he was going all elite. Jonathan Fatu was all elite. It was all signed and done. He left WWE. He was going to all elite. So, I was just totally shocked that he was on Raw.
Didn't someone say he was going to Impact?
Yes, he was supposed to go join his sister-in-law there. He was going to make the whole rounds. New Japan, Noah. He was going to fight in India, Saudi Arabia, Jamaica, the Bahamas, Bermuda, Kokomo. Wait, that's a beach voice song. My bad. Anywho. The internet told me he was going all elite, and now the internet lied to me, and I just don't know what to do with that.
You're just devastated, right?
Oh, I'm totally devastated that the internet lied to me, because they told me I was going to see Jonathan Fatu all elite. He was going to take on MJF instantly, become the AEW World Champion, then get into a fight with somebody backstage, then go away for a little bit, then come back as the real world. No, that's an MTV show. The real world champion. Wait, isn't the real world champion Miz not that guy that we can't talk about anymore because he's not all elite? Anywho.
No, don't talk about him.
Yes. We don't want him ranting on us. The next thing you know, he'll be charging at us and trying to put us in a guillotine choke. Do not be
You're a
seen
mean
talking.
one, Mr. Brooks.
And now we're banned off of YouTube because that's going to be the rest of his life. We're going to get a lawsuit now. Cease and desist order. You're a mean one, Mr. Brooks. That's going to set him off right there.
Let me be honest here. If we get one of those, is there a way we can laminate that? So we can hang it on the wall or
fuck
sell
yeah.
it?
We're gonna make copies of that shit and put it all over it. You think this YouTube? I don't care. We'll make a new YouTube channel. We'll put that thing up there live and in person. Cease and desist this. I will make whole lyrics. We'll do a whole like jingle. We'll be like, "You're a mean one, Mr. Brooks. You like to choke them out. You should be feeling
So hey, it's the only time
Keep
he
your
actually
hands to
choked somebody
yourself."
out. Let's be real here.
Well, I guess he did learn something from UFC. But anywho.
Other than tapping out.
Well, I thought he learned that. I thought he learned that with April, but that's a whole different story, right? Now we're really up Shit's Creek. Digging holes. Anywho.
Let me break this apart real quick. You talked earlier about NXT No Mercy. Let me be the one to say it's going to be in Bakersfield.
Yes. And
So if anyone's interested to make the drive, we can roll to that.
Bakersfield's like the pit of the earth.
Yeah.
And for an
It'll
NXT
be better than
show,
Sacramento.
it's a no. It's an NXT show and it's in Bakersfield. You got to be careful in Bakersfield.
Well, this
If
isn't
you get
Levi
if you
4
go
years
off the
ago.
wrong dirt road, you're going to start hearing the banjos from the movie Deliverance playing, and somebody's going to walk up to you and go, "I want to make you squeal like a pig, boy." Again, tell me when I'm telling lies. Damn, that dude turned red.
But yeah, it's hot in here too, though. So give me credit here.
Good excuse. Yes, cover up that. Oh.
At least he's not singing Nelly. It's hot in here.
No.
Keep it PG. I can't.
We don't need that.
Yeah.
PG. PG. We left PG like 5 minutes ago. Okay.
I left PG behind when I was talking about being jealous of the ring and Trish Stratus giving headshots.
You left PG behind in high school.
Good point.
What you talking about?
It was elementary, but that's just by age.
Well, I'm just saying from personal experience, I know when somebody left PG. I went along with that ride, and we were right there. You know, there's a reason we were the Shawn and Triple H of our time era. Anywho.
Mm-hmm.
You're a mean one, Mr. Brooks. You like to choke them out. Keep your hands to yourself and play nice with others, and then maybe you'll have a job. You're a mean one. Anyways, we have gotten way off. Anyways, so yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was wondering too. Like, now, see, if we get to that conversation, I just want to know what kind of money was involved in that release. But we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Well, we'll talk about that when we wrap this up, because I've heard some stipulations and other things from other content creators that might make sense to all of this. And will Punk get paid? I don't know. But anywho, Grayson Waller effect. Jey Uso's back. Jay's now in the ring. Cody Rhodes kind of walks off. And now we understand why Jimmy had different music on SmackDown. I was kind of interested. Jimmy had totally different music. I'm like, why does he have different music? But Jay has the old music. Jimmy has new music, so we get it. Of course, Waller cuts him off and starts talking like, "You've only been gone for 2 weeks." Jay looks to pick up a mic, and then we get the Uzi chants. Waller says that, he's been a twin, he's been a bloodline, he's been all these things, but he's never done anything individually. He's done nothing. Waller's running his mouth, and he runs his mouth right into a super kick. Jay celebrates as Cody watches, and so now Jey Uso is main event. Jey Uso, he's all alone, he's on Raw. We'll see what comes from that. Anything relevant that we need to add to that, or have we beat that bush to death at this point?
My beat stick broken.
All right, one of the other matches of the night that I don't know why the women's matches just didn't live up to a lot of what it could have been. This was just a match that I was not. I don't know. Anyways, we got Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez for the WWE World's Women's Championship, and that's a mouthful to say. But anyway, Rhea's out. There is no Dirty Dom initially, so maybe Dutch Mantel finally got his hands on Dirty Dom, or got his hands on Dommy Boy, and that's why Dom wasn't out there. I don't know. Anyways, Rhea walking out the ring. She blows her kiss to Raquel. She gets in. The bell rings. They lock up. Cole says these are the two strongest women in WWE history. Okay. Anywho, Rhea doing her best. Yes, that's what Cole said. And of course, Cole also told us that Rhea was doing her best China cosplay tonight. Then the girls start bickering back and forth in the match. Well, she was in an outfit that was China made, or China not made, but yeah, it was a copy off of some outfit China wore years ago. They bicker back and forth in this match. Rhea finally gets Raquel turned around or down on the mat, locks her legs up, and is pulling her by the hair. Raquel turns around, Rhea up, but slides out of the ring. Then we get Raquel off the ropes with a shoulder tackle. They go back and forth trying to knock each other down. Doesn't really work out. Rhea eventually takes control. Rhea's got Raquel on the ground. Raquel gets back up on her feet and just Raquel lifts it up Rhea and tosses her like straight out. I don't know, it's not like a flapjack, but just kind of picks her up and tosses her. Rhea then with a beautiful drop kick. Oh, it was absolutely that missile drop kick, that beautiful, just that drop kick she hit. That was probably the best move of the night of that match. And then she just starts beating on Raquel. Gray says Rhea's playing with her food, so now Raquel is nothing more than dead meat. I don't know, since Corey Graves is referring to Rhea playing with her meat, like she's a caged animal, and that means Raquel is nothing but dead meat. Anyway, Raquel gets back up and she tries to grab Rhea with a choke, and I was like, you know what? Be careful with those chokes now. You don't want to be CM Punk choking out people. But anyways, Raquel now in control. Raquel going up, but Rhea sweeps her feet off the top rope. Rhea is in charge. Rhea's going up to the top. She headbutts Raquel, and Raquel's kind of tied up between the second and middle rope in a weird position. Rhea trying to go up on top, but Raquel stops her. We get a vertical suplex by Raquel. A spinning corkscrew elbow for 2. We're going back and forth. We get a moment where we get this really sloppy exchange where they both just seem to miss their moves. Raquel came off with a strong clothesline for a 2. Rhea goes after the knee. Rhea gets Raquel in a prism lock, I think it's called. Eventually, Raquel reverses it into a roll-up for 2. And finally, Dom is out, and Raquel is... Raquel had a beautiful running slam on Tom. It just looked... Tom just... Poor Dom. We're going to let you be North American champion, but you're just going to get your butt beat by everybody, okay? So just know that. Anything you do, you're going to get beat up. Men, women, kids, whatever. Oh, there's a great TikTok or video where Dom is with Rhea, and there's this boy that's like totally... This little boy, this little kid, he's probably like 6, 7, who's totally in love with Raquel. And so he goes up to Dom and starts trying to push Dom out of the way. It's hilarious. Anywho.
I love that video.
Yeah, Raquel reverses it into a roll-up for 2. Dom is out. Raquel gets a running slam on Dom, which leaves her open for Rhea to hit the riptide for the 1, 2, 3. And your winner and still women's world champion, Rhea Ripley. The right move. I don't know what they're going to do with Raquel. Raquel looked like just... Why does this woman come out and do that stupid thing like 5 times before the match? She comes out and then initial entrance, turns her back, flexes her stuff. I don't know what you're flexing. I don't see anything. Nothing you do in that 2-minute pose of Hogan-ness impresses me. And then she goes down to the ring. Go ahead.
I got one. It used to look good. At one point, there was some definition there, but since her main roster, nothing.
But she does it 3, 4, 5 times before the match even starts. She does it at the beginning. She comes to the ring apron and does it, and then she gets in the ring and does it. I'm just like, you bore me. You just bored me. I'm already bored of you. I want you to go away. I don't care. You do this Hulk Hogan 5-move pose down bullcrap that doesn't do any interest. You're coming out all happy-go-lucky, like old Finn Balor when we all got mad when Finn Balor would come out with the big old cheesy smile, and we're just oh. Balor's better than this. Raquel just comes out, and I'm just there's nothing serious about her. I mean, the minute Raquel came out and did that crap and just started high-fiving and smiling and everything, I'm like, okay, she's losing. I mean, that took me out of the match right there. I don't get it. Raquel Rodriguez needs to go back to NXT and become hype or something. I don't know. Just get her off my TV, I guess. I mean,
real quick, Paul cracked a joke earlier about the wrestling match. I would like to say that I just seen on Twitter Rhea Ripley talking about fans being able to sit on her face because her face was on the payback chair this time.
I wonder how Buddy Matthews feels about that one. He already has to share with Dirty Dom, so I don't know how he feels about having to share her.
No, Dom's engaged. Dom's engaged now.
The average fan doesn't know that.
Yeah, the average fan doesn't believe that either. The average fan thinks Dom and Rhea are together. So, I mean, Yes, Rhea Ripley's dating Buddy Matthews. That's a former WWE wrestler who's now over in the House of Black on AEW. And Dominic proposed to his fiance, whoever she is. I don't know. Nobody of significance.
That's good though.
So, anywho, well, I don't know. I mean, Sammy Guevara got engaged to somebody of no significance and then wound up getting engaged and married and pregnant.
Oh,
Tay Conti. So, I mean, you know, that may not always work out for somebody.
But no, ow.
It happened, and that's
That
why
one-
a lot of
that
people
one.
got mad at him because he.
I know that happened.
If he wouldn't have publicly,
I know
made
that
the-
happened, but
If he wouldn't have publicly made the engagement to his first fiance on public TV in a forum like that and got it exposed, it probably wouldn't have been as bad. But that, and then winding up with Tay Conti, and then not only that whole marriage or that whole thing ended because she figured out him and Tay Conti were hanging out a little more than friends. Not necessarily there was ever a statement that Sammy actually cheated. Never was it announced, or did I know, unless you guys know. I've never heard that he actually cheated, but there was
I've never heard that.
flirtation. There was enough flirtation that it ended that the other fiance got jealous.
all I heard was there was multiple pictures of them together where it looked a little friendly, but that's
Yes.
about as far as it went.
No, there was a lot of flirting, and that kind of ended that. So we'll leave that there because we're talking about Raquel Rodriguez.
Mhm.
and I
No, let's
don't
go.
know.
Yeah, Braun Strowman might kill us if we say anything bad about that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about.
Let's
no,
get back
no.
to
Didn't they break up? Didn't they just get announced that they broke up? I think Raquel's on the single market right now. That's right. Braun Strowman has been seen with somebody else, and I think they was recently announced that they broke up within the last week or two.
Oh,
It probably got swept
well, I
under
did
the
not know
rug
that.
because of everything else going
Hmm.
on, but that is life. But if I believe correctly, I heard.
Like I
the
said, I really
announcement-
like this whole match itself. I paid more attention to the game I was at because I could not.
Yeah, as
I
of the
felt bad.
21st, there was a lot of breakup rumors going around. So they unfollowed each other on social media and removed many pictures of them together. So, as I understand it, I do not believe they're together anymore. Raquel Rodriguez is on the market, so if anybody's interested, No? Okay.
Paul.
Anyways.
you can say Hana bomb me anytime.
Oh,
Yeah, well, you want a Tahana bomb, and then you want to go, what was it, Selena Gomez and Jenna Ortega in a
Hey, let's not even go there. That was the Facebook group. Not need to be on the podcast. If anyone's interested, they can go to the Facebook group and see that post.
And
mm-mm.
there we
Just
are.
because I want to do my best Tommy Dreamer impression.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yes. That's what we're talking about. The best Tommy Dreamer impression. Can I have both? Yes. No, that's fine. It's a little harder for me to look at it and go, my
I'll
kids are-
take both because I'm hardcore.
Woo. Anyways, let's see.
I'll walk away on that.
Let's go. We had John Cena doing his best impression of, I guess, Mean Gene Okerlund or somebody else. I don't know. He decided that he wanted to do an interview. He did an interview with the Judgment Day, and it was an interview, and eventually they walked off to go celebrate, and Judgment Day went off to celebrate. Then we got an advertisement for next month's premium and live event, live from Indianapolis, Indiana. It's going to be Fastlane. So if you're ready to go fast, because if you're not first, you're last, right? Exactly.
Thank you, Fast and the Furious.
That was
Yeah.
a Fast and
Thanks.
Furious thing.
Mhm.
That was a Ricky Bobby thing. If you're not first, you're last.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
That's just
You're right, you're right.
yeah, I'm done.
If we're going to talk about Fast and Furious, it's about family. Family. Since you ate the first piece, you can say prayer, right? We'll do it for the family. Of course, John Cena's not going to make it through that series. But anywho. Anyways, so then we got the Fastlane. We got the Fastlane preview, and then from there we got the video package of Pittsburgh's very own. It's true. Oh, it's damn true. We got the advertisement for Kurt Angle and his documentary that is following Payback tonight. So after you're done here watching our beautiful faces, because we are just marvelous, darling, and you know you love watching us. You can go ahead and jump off here, jump off our stream, go over there, and watch Peacock once again to see the Kurt Angle documentary. But remember, before you leave here, the Value Wrestling YouTube page, well, you need to do something. You know what that is? You need to hit that subscribe button. Then you need to hit that bell for notification. Because, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? We are going to go live more not than often. And that's our whole new program. We went live a couple years back. Life happens, and now we're back, and we're going to go live. And guess what? We're not just live tonight. We're going to be live tomorrow, probably around 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It may give or take a little bit there, but make sure you have that notification because you know exactly when we go live. And guess what? Not only that, we're going to double head it. We're going to tag team it. We're going to do it 2 for 1, all in one day. We're going to come back after all out. The pay-per-view card that kind of is. And we're going to give you a review on that, and we'll see how that goes. And hopefully somebody over there has gotten over their fear of being in the gorilla position. But hey, that's another time, another place. Also, after the Payback or the Kurt Angle documentary, we got the announcement for tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw: Chad Gable versus Gunther for the Intercontinental title. So the Chad Gable is going to get his second try at the Ring General Gunther. Gunther has not, as of yet, broken Honky Tonk Man's record. So I'm kind of shocked that they're giving this match to us now. I would think maybe Chad Gable's going to beat Gunther. Gunther ain't going to beat the Honky Tonk Man's record, and everybody's going to be pissed off. Everybody wants Gunther to do it, but maybe it's not going to happen because I don't think it's Chad Gable's time. Yes? Did you have something to say?
Honky Tonk's reign needs to be defeated. Yes, Chad, it's Chad Gable's time. No problem with him getting the IC title. Just after that damn record is broken.
I don't know. I'm a little disappointed because I'm confused. I'm like feels like.
Wait, what do you have against Honky Tonk?
What don't you have against Honky Tonk?
Have you met the man?
No,
He blames
not
Honky.
personally.
Okay, so no, I've got more than you do then.
He's got a Honky Tonk for Go ahead.
I've got more than you on that one when it comes to honky because I got. We'll talk about that off air.
Okay.
Oh, this is intriguing. Did you get honky with the Honky Tonk Man? Maybe. Ooh. Inquiry.
No, I mean,
want to know. No. Anyways, I don't know. I don't know if he'll beat the Honky Tonk Man's record. It's close, and you would think he would, and would be good for Gunther. But I mean, if Chad Gable loses this match, what happens? Because I mean, how many times can you have a? Are you going to really let Chad beat Gunther in some other weird, mysterious? I mean, under nefarious thing? Unless
You let Otis beat him.
Unless you let Gunther win by dirty means, unless some interference or something happens where Gunther gets the win by accident. So now we get the rebound match. We have the rubber match at the next Payback or somewhere down the line, maybe. But I don't know. I'm just like it's got to be real careful how they book this because Chad Gable's red hot and ready for it, and Gunther is super hot and ready to move on to the next thing. So we will find out.
Let me give you a flash from the past. Let me give you a flash from the past as an example. Now, I can't do this with every character, but countouts do work. I mean, Tatanka's career, his hot streak was built off of countouts until you got to where he was going.
I don't know if that works the same for Chad Gable because Chad Gable's amazing, but I guess you could do that again. I don't know. Got to be real careful. It's a real fine line to walk to do that, You got to be real careful.
I also figure we're so close to. Yes, you have to be real careful, but we're so close to Honky Tonk Man's record being broken, where they can do it a time, do it again. In other words, without being too, without it messing up too much.
It's really they got to be careful because both these guys are red hot. Both these guys are in good places and have good futures ahead of them. But this storyline, you have to walk a real fine line to what you're trying to do, where you don't hurt either of these guys. But we will see tomorrow night. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we need to jump into this and finish this out, and then we can talk about bigger things. Not that Payback wasn't a big thing; it wasn't a really good thing. But we're going to get to the main event of the night. Probably this is one of the contenders. That street fight match, Judgment Day versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. and then this match was good. And a lot of it was good because they really built Nakamura to be a serious contender. They sold the ticket to make you believe that there was a chance that Nakamura was going to do this. Like, you were kind of like, and put a little hope in some of us that maybe Nakamura was going to win. I was kind of on the edge of, like, I wanted to see Nakamura win. I thought this might have been the time. But I think they told a good story that kept Nakamura super, super strong and gave Seth Rollins what he needed. So we're going to see. But, I mean, damn. Anyway, Seth Rollins is out in the crowd singing his song, and then we get this amazing, awesome, like, anime Nakamura video where he's talking over it, and it's just like, oh my God, could they do any more to really get Nakamura hyped up? This was just impressive, and I hope they do more of this with Nakamura. Like, I'm not a huge fan of anime, but this one got me. This one was like, okay, I like this comic.
For the Japan guy over here, I was super juiced the whole time watching it.
It was awesome. And so the Nakamura music hits, which I'm kind of like, I think Nakamura needs new music at this point, but, you know, his music's still good. And the crowd's still singing Nakamura's song, too, if you listen. Now, there's also rumors that Muta was spotted in Pittsburgh, and so there was a lot of speculation that Muta would have came out to ringside.
They showed him on camera.
Mm-hmm.
But you just cut me off before I was getting there. I was building. I was building to that.
I was waiting. I
was saying that, you know, there was a lot of rumors that Muta was going to be in Nakamura's corner. There was a lot of rumors that Muta was in Pittsburgh. There was a lot of speculation that maybe Nakamura and Muta were going to work together since their last match in Noah. That Nakamura was there for Muta's last match. But what we got was Muta sitting in the audience. They did show us Muta sitting there in the audience. They did give us all the history about Nakamura and Muta. So I don't know. I was kind of like, cool, but was there a purpose for Muta being there? Yeah, I was kind of disappointed because I'm like, why are you going to bring Muta all the way over to have him sit in the audience? And I unless something else was going on that I don't know about offhand. I know the Cole Fowler Alley Club recently met, which deals with somebody else we want to talk about right now. So I don't know if Muta was in the area, because I don't know where the Cole Fowler Alley Club is. I think it's up in the north east. I don't know if it's like Philly or Newark, but yeah. So I don't know if Muta was already in the area, but I was kind of like, you just put him in the audience. I would have thought you would have had a little more if you're going to bring somebody like Muta in and showcase him in any form.
I think the point was just to give respect to a legend.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm hoping there's more of a tease there. I'm just wondering if we're going to get a little more, and that's just the beginning of a tease. Of course, I could be just hoping, and we'll never see anything out of it, but that's okay. Anyways, we had Muta in the audience, and they start locking up, and then Nakamura, not Muta, Nakamura escapes and plays games. They then back and they lock up. We get a lot of back and forth. Both been down and then back up. It was back and forth a whole lot. Rollins gets Nakamura down, gets the legs tied up, and then he's pulling Nakamura by the hair. Eventually, both men get up, and Rollins is trying to stay in control. We had a lot of headlocks and side head holds, back and forth going on. Nakamura with Rollins into the ropes, so Nakamura gets Rollins into the ropes, and then this is when Nakamura starts rubbing very, very Nakamura-ish on Seth Rollins' bad back, just kind of rubbing his back, and it was a really good mind game, a really good move there. Rollins gets out, and Rollins is down. Eventually Nakamura gets Rollins down. He starts trying to stomp on him, but he misses both of them. Rollins is back up in control. Eventually Nakamura is then back in control, and starts work. This is where he really starts working on Rollins' back. Rollins gets up and tries to hit a springboard swanton. This is when both men roll outside. Rollins bashes Nakamura's head into the steel chairs. Now he's then he starts bashing it off the announce table. The announce table got more head than anybody probably tonight, but that's okay. Eventually, he slaps Nakamura before rolling back in the ring to break up the count. Rollins gets up on the barricade, but Nakamura reverses it and drags Rollins from the barricade and drives him into the announce table. Nakamura gets back in. He's back in charge and working on that back. He's really trying to do everything to work on that back. Nakamura with a knee to the spine. He came up behind him and hit him with the knee in the spine for a 2 count. Nakamura has Rollins hanging over the edge of the ring, and this was a good spot too. Nakamura had Rollins with most of his legs were in the ring, but most of his back or his upper torso was hanging over the side of the apron. And first he hit him in the knee in the side of the head, then he got up on the apron and dropped that knee right in the back, so he was continuing to working on the back of Rollins. Both men are in the ring. Nakamura is kicking Rollins. Then he gets him into a half crab, and then Nakamura got Rollins twisted up and is kicking at Rollins. I mean, he's brutally kicking Rollins in the face. Eventually, Rollins rolls out and gets to his feet. Nakamura drives Rollins into the corner. Eventually we get Nakamura on the top rope, and Rollins starts chopping him. Rollins tries for a suplex, but Nakamura blocks it. But eventually gets hit with that beautiful top rope Hurricanrana. Yeah,
Hurricanrana.
that's a mouthful for me. So we get
What,
the Go, huh?
We say Frankensteiner. Is that a term we
Well,
can
they called it
use? Or is it out of
Haruna
fashion?
The announcers called it Haruna Karana. But yeah, Frankensteiner.
Hurricanrana.
Yeah, okay. I can't get them all right. Anyways, Rollins takes control up top. He goes for a frog splash for 2. Rollins trying to get Nakamura up, but can't. Nakamura messes with a kick. Rollins hits a ripcord for 2 and starts yelling at Nakamura and starts pounding on him. Rollins sets up for a stop, but Nakamura dodges it. Nakamura gets him locked into a sleeper, and a good long sleeper. We almost thought this could have been it. They really sold this. Rollins eventually gets up. Nakamura with a flying knee for 2. Nakamura with a suplex on Rollins, a nice suplex. Nakamura then goes with a scoop slam, but Rollins reverses it. Rolling into the corner, Nakamura hits him with a beautiful snapping German suplex, and then hits an inverted exploder. Nakamura is waiting. Nakamura's getting ready to charge. He charges at Rollins, and instead of it, Kinshasa gets nailed with a super kick for a 2 count. Nakamura kicks out, and the match continues. Nakamura eventually rolls it into an armbar. He then transfers the armbar into a triangle lock. Rollins tries to lift Nakamura, but Rollins' back gives out. Rollins is fighting to get out, but can't. He's in the middle of the ring. Rollins eventually gets back to his feet and picks up Nakamura for a sit-down powerbomb for a 2. And both men are back onto their knees and exchanging punches and elbows and blows, going back and forth. Rollins goes for a neck breaker into the rear clothesline. So he turns around for the neck breaker, but then comes back and hits him with the clothesline. Kind of a ripcord, but not exactly. Eventually, we got a reversal on that. Then it leads into an enziguri. Both men are up top. Nakamura with Rollins on his shoulder for a landslide for a 2. And Nakamura is very upset now. He gets a Kinshasa onto the backside of Rollins, and Nakamura, instead of covering, goes into the other corner and gets ready and charges up for another one. But Rollins doesn't get up, so he gives up and goes over and slaps Rollins. He lifts him up, and Rollins slaps Nakamura. Nakamura attacks Rollins. Nakamura suplexes Rollins, reverses it. Standing switch, and Rollins hits the pedigree. Of course, we get no cover. Rollins goes over, sets up, and we get a stomp and drags himself over because Rollins is beat and worn out, and we finally get the 1, 2, 3, and your winner, and still still World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. And what a match. What a match. What a match. Both men look strong. Nakamura looks great. I don't know what they're going to do with Nakamura from here. Are they going to continue this feud? I hope so. I don't know how long you can, depending on what you're going to do with Seth Rollins and who he's going to drop the title to, but I hope they keep Nakamura looking as strong as they did. Gentlemen, comments, thoughts, concerns?
I'm right there with you. I don't know where they're going to get Rollins to drop the belt. Obviously, as we've all heard, Rollins does have a legit back problem, so we'll have to see where they go from there.
They legitimately sold me a ticket that Nakamura might win the title tonight with the storytelling of the back problem. Just like the constant talk of it, but so masterfully done.
Mm-hmm. It sold me. I was ready for it. I've never. It's not very often that I sit there in shock because it didn't go the way I was hoping or I thought it was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And this one did it. It had me, jaw drop to the floor. I was like, well, damn, I was wrong.
Definitely feel you there.
But they really sold the ticket for Nakamura. They made Nakamura go from nothing to something in just a short little while. I mean, they really turned the heat up, gave Nakamura some really, really good vignettes, some video packages that really made you believe Nakamura had a chance. Still has a chance, depending on what they do from here. So this is Payback.
Heel Nakamura is awesome.
Yeah.
I really enjoy heel Nakamura.
Yeah. Well, I didn't enjoy the first Nakamura with the kick to the balls all the time. I'm hoping we get a real good heel
Oh, no.
Nakamura, maybe the Japanese strong style Nakamura that we've all been dying to see, but we will have to wait and see. So, gentlemen, let's give our overall thoughts on Payback 2023, live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Final thoughts.
Slow burn all the way to the end, and then it got exciting for me.
I think overall,
I think those are the best words to sum it up.
Overall, I think it was a good show. The two matches of the night, I think, were the Nakamura, Seth Rollins, and the Steel City Street Fight. A street fight that actually produced a good match for once. I think the women's match were both lackluster in their presentation. Raquel Rodriguez doesn't do anything for me, and the Trish and Becky thing, I think maybe just ran its course and people were just tired. They didn't really do anything that I thought was awesome in the steel cage, but maybe I missed something. I don't know, but those matches were so-so. LA Knight and Miz did good. I don't think there was that was a great match. They do have some good chemistry. If their feud continues, I hope the next match gets a little better. I hope they up the ante in that. But overall, really good card. They brought Payback. It may be the pay-per-view of the weekend. We'll have to see what they do with All Out. The card, I'm sorry, unfortunately, is kind of not all that great to me. But
So what you're saying is, to quote MJF, it's a little mid.
I said that earlier.
It's mid. I mean, I don't get why MJF and Adam Cole are taking on Johnny Hungy and Reynolds.
Why storyline beat wise.
Well, they won a battle royal, but it's like, what? You haven't done anything with the Dark Order that's really been of importance. Now you're putting them in a match for the Ring of Honor tag titles because why? I mean, like,
they've been in Ring of Honor. That's why they're doing that also.
Maybe, I don't know. It just
We'll see.
The whole card overall is, I guess, I know we have the Omega Takeshita match, which should be good. I guess we're getting Ricky Starks versus Bryan Danielson, which is probably going to be a highlight of the night now. In the strap match, the only thing I can say is I hope Bryan Danielson doesn't get hurt again, because seems to be an ongoing theme here and there. So we'll see. But right now I think Payback's really brought what it needed to. AEW All Out is really, really going to have to bring it. They did a good show for All In, but all the other controversies just taken away from that. So now it's All Out, and especially since everybody's like, you booked All In and booked All Out, they're so close, you haven't really given us a build to All Out, and now you're trying to throw a card together overnight in the middle of the night, and you want us to buy into it, and then you're giving us Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal and Saddam Singh versus the Acclaimed for the Trios tag titles. You're putting Dennis Rodman in the corner of the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, and I'm just going, I could live without Dennis Rodman in wrestling. But
Fair.
Payback was a good payback.
He came out like Rodzilla, didn't he?
He was called that at one point.
Old Zilla. You mean Old Man Zilla? That's what he came out like.
There you go.
Anywho, that was a WWE Payback. It was a great show. We are still live with you. We thank you for joining us. And we were glad you came. If you're seeing this after the live's over, we hope you are enjoying what you're watching. Remember to subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, share, comment, do all that wonderful stuff. But right now we're going to switch up tunes because there's something that I discussed earlier on a quick live, on a Big Time Rants live that I had to get out live because it was right before Payback and I didn't have time to record a show and send it to our editor, and it just wouldn't have been out in a timely manner, and this is such hot news I felt like it needed to get out right now. But now that I have my compadres and other views, opinions, thoughts, and ideas into this, I guess we're going to touch on the hot topic of the night or the day, something that kind of almost, I think, could have stole the thunder from Payback. But Tony Khan did tell us that by Saturday, before All Out, he would give us some type, or hope to have some type of resolution to Brawl In. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been announced officially with a letter in full detail that I read it on the rants. But due to everything, CM Punk, Phil Brooks, is no longer with the company. He was terminated for cause. So, yeah.
What? No Vince McMahon impersonation?
Oh,
I got nothing.
CM Punk was, "You're fired."
And I was actually going to wear my CM Punk shirt today.
It,
The most
I,
independent wrestler now.
is the independent, I guess, under a mask? I don't know. So here's the difference in the stories. So we all know about Brawl In. Supposedly, prior to this, Jack Perry tried to use real glass. CM Punk either on his own or was told by somebody to go talk Jack Perry out of using real glass. What came out of it was Jack Perry didn't want to listen, and so we get to Brawl In. Brawl In, we have a match between Jack Perry and Hook. They climb up on top of the limo. At some point, they do a move. Jack Perry pulls the camera in close and goes, slaps the glass, goes, "It's real glass, cry me a river." Of course, Jack Perry and finish up his match with Hook. And of course, sitting in the backstage area was, or in Gorilla, was CM Punk, because he was supposed to be the opening match for the card of All In with Samoa Joe. So that's what led to this, and so I guess the understanding now more clearly, and what seems to be more truthful, is that Punk confronted Jack Perry as he walked by and said, "Oh, you know I can take you out. It was either I can take you out, or I can beat your butt, or I can kick your ass. You know this, blah 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 blah."
Give him a spanking.
Do what?
Give him a spanking.
Yes. So this, I guess, from what I'm understanding, Punk kind of pushed at Perry, which eventually, whatever happened, there was a tussle. Eventually, led into Punk putting Jack Perry into a guillotine choke, and this whole involvement. It happened all backstage, and apparently, not only the whole thing was recorded because Wembley and the United Kingdom, which makes sense thinking about it now. The United Kingdom is very heavy on Big Brother. Whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, we're not going to get into that. But there are cameras everywhere in the United Kingdom. It's just the way they run their country. And so there's cameras all over Wembley that recorded all of this. And of course, this also happened to Gorilla position where Tony Khan was sitting at the camera. Supposedly monitors were knocked over, which I tend to believe a lot more now because of the opening of Collision, which we can talk about. But yes, Tony Khan was right there. He was firsthand experienced at this. And so, anyways, just to reiterate the statement that came out today from All Elite Wrestling and Tony Khan, and in the words of Michael Cole, well, now it went away. You stupid SOB. Why do you do that to me? You're right here. I just want to read this thing and be done with it. Why do you got to take it away from me? Okay. This statement from All Elite Wrestling and Tony Khan, and in the words of Michael Cole, and I quote, All Elite Wrestling, AEW, has terminated the wrestler and employment agreements, listen to the wording, agreements between Phil Brooks, CM Punk, and AEW with cause, effective immediately. The termination was confirmed today by Tony Khan, who is CEO, General Manager, and Head of Creative for AEW. Again, All Elite Wrestling has terminated the wrestler and employment agreements between Phil Brooks, CM Punk, and AEW with cause, effective immediately. The termination was confirmed by Tony Khan. The termination follows a week-long internal investigation of an incident occurring backstage at AEW, all in London, on Sunday, August 27th. Following an investigation, the AEW Disciplinary Committee, whoever that's made up, we don't know, met and later conveyed with outside legal counsel before making an ununanimous recommendation to Tony Khan that CM Punk be terminated with cause. Khan offered the following statement. Phil played an important role with AEW, and I thank him for his contributions. The termination of his AEW contract with cause is ultimately my decision and mine alone. Of course, I wish I didn't have to share this news, which may come as a disappointment to many of our fans. Nevertheless, I am making the decision in the best interest of the many amazing people who make AEW possible every week. Our talent, staff, venue operators, and many others whose efforts are unsung but essential to bringing our fans great shows on television and in arenas and stadiums throughout the world. That was the big part of the news today that announced that CM Punk had been terminated. Now, we get to Collision. And if you haven't seen the Collision opening, you got to go watch the Collision opening because Tony Khan gets on camera before even the opening of the show and announces that CM Punk was terminated and that he had been to many wrestling events and many wrestling things over time, and he has never had an experience like this, that he feared for his life. He felt he was in danger. So this only tells me that whatever happened back there was a pretty severe situation. This was not just your normal back and forth, tumbling around. This wasn't something just simple. This was something that really blew up. Of course, there's also the fact that Punk lunged. It's been reported, and I have to believe it now more than ever, that Punk lunged at Tony Khan. Not in detail if he tried to grab him or go after him, but Punk made the gesture of lunging towards Tony Khan. So he presented himself as a threat. And I think anybody who presents themselves to a threat to an employee or a boss, regardless of how you feel about your boss, making it a move of threat, like lunging. Lunging to me would be a you're going to do something. You're coming at me. You want to hurt me. I don't think that can be tolerated in any case, period, end of story. So CM Punk lunged at Tony Khan, then had choice words for Tony Khan, ran back to his, well, I won't say ran back to his locker room. When he went back to his locker room, had said he quit, he hated this place, and he went back to his locker room. Tony Khan started running around trying to get other matches on. He was going to try and get the Young Bucks FTR to open the show, but they weren't ready initially. Then it was going to be the Hangman, Omega, Takeshita, Ibushi. It was going to be that match because they were ready to go. They were the second match of the card anyway, so it would have been good. But Samoa Joe played the hero, I guess you can say, and went and talked to Punk, consoled him, got him to calm down, at least got him to come out and do business. So at least Punk didn't pull a Ultimate Warrior or Jeff Jarrett or some of the other people that have, decided to not follow through on contractual agreements. Sorry, Punk. I mean, you do great things, but I mean, if you're going back to your locker room and acting like you're not going to compete because you're mad, which you may have been justified in why you were angry, I get that, but I mean, those were other people who felt they were justified in their actions, and we know what happened. But anywho, this is where the story gets there, and of course, Tony Khan comes on, and you can see in his face, I know there's a meme going around where Tony Khan looks like he's scared to death, and in that opening video package, he looked scared. He looked petrified telling us this. He looked upset. I don't know if it was reliving those events. I don't know if it's knowing that he had to fire Punk and wondering what's going to come after this. He's waiting for this lawsuit and how damaging this is going to be. And depending on how that goes, did Punk wind up getting any money? I think the way they fired him with just cause may keep him from getting any of that money. I think that's what Tony Khan was working on, why they were looking for legal, and why it took so long to really get this information. I think Tony Khan was trying to find a way not to pay Punk. Is Punk going to sue? Yes. Is AEW probably going to have to pay Punk something? I probably would bet in this day and age that he's going to get something out of all of that just cause. Now, how deep will Punk go? I don't know. Could this hurt AEW in a sense? It may. If Punk goes after hard big money and wins any big money, it may or may not hurt. It depends. Of course, there's also other sources in this. We know Tony Khan's dad is kind of the backer. Tony Khan's, running it. He's there, but it's really kind of, Tony Khan's dad's money that's back here. And if Senior Khan decides that, all this is becoming a financial risk, it could, really be the detriment of AEW, or AEW may wind up in the hands of WB, Warner Brothers, Discovery, whoever all that is, because they have a lot of play in their agreement, and they were a big reason Punk stayed on TV. And I get it. A lot of people said Punk deserved a second chance, and Punk blew that second chance. A lot of people said that Punk shouldn't have been fired, that Jack Perry should be fired. And I'm sorry, Jack Perry has had no issues backstage, and this is his first altercation backstage, so I don't think he deserves to get fired. He really just said something stupid on air, and he's just young. He's green, and I think he just doesn't know better. He was trying to make a name. He thought he'd take an opportunity, and I think he just doesn't know better, and I think some of the senior wrestlers need to sit him down and just discuss why we don't do things like that. Will he be suspended? Yes. Will there be a fine? Will there be one or the other? I'm sure there's something, and we'll know about that when that time comes, but I think Jack Perry's going to get his just dues, and I think Jack Perry's going to be fine. But I don't think he should be fired. It sounds like a lot of this was more on Punk than Perry. I'm sorry, a lot of people are trying to put this heavily on Perry and not Punk, like they were trying to give Punk another pass.
Bless you.
Thank you. Live on air, you can't help it. So that is where we are now. We have, oh my God, it's crazy news. Now, I've heard other creators and other people make this statement. one thing we got to read. We read this statement. We hear that the termination follows a week. The termination of CM Punk. I'm trying to find my mouse. Let me get back in this letter because there's an interesting statement. A lot of people believe that Punk wasn't just a wrestler, but that he had some pull backstage, whether it was management, whether it was a producer role, whether it was a booker or something. But it's very interesting that All Elite Wrestling has terminated the wrestler and employment agreements between Phil Brooks. And they said agreements. That was the big thing. They have terminated the wrestler and employment agreements. So they seem to have multiple agreements, which says, A, he had a talent contract, and B, he has some type of other backstage agreement. So when a lot of people said that it seemed like Punk had more control over Collision or was some type of management or had some type of control or something in the background, this kind of leads to lend to the truth that may have been fact. I don't know, but the way that's worded, since it says agreements, it does make it seem like there was more than one. And they said wrestler and employment. What that all entails, I don't know. I think they all work on 1099s in most part, but I mean, if you have more than one agreement, it says something.
Absolutely. I mean, not knowing the details, there's nothing more we can really say, but it does make you wonder.
Yes. Now, another part of all this that's breaking out is I've heard other content creators say this. What if Phil Brooks has been intentionally trying to get fired since Brawl Out? What if Phil Brooks had the issue with Brawl Out, and then at that time, he got suspended, and we know there was a lot of legal issues. That thing went under. Nobody talked about it. Phil Brooks was suing AEW. There was a lot of things. And I tend to go, well, maybe everything CM Punk has done to this point has been trying to get himself fired. Because we can't say CM Punk is stupid. He hasn't made his name for it in the business like he has all over the world, and independent feds all the way up to the big ones, by being stupid. He is very smart. Now, he may have an attitude. He may have a temperament. And you do know he has sort of that temperament. He doesn't tolerate it. We've heard in his documentary, when his brother screwed him over, he cut him off. We know he's cut off Colt Cabana with their feud. And he doesn't tolerate no bullshit, and that's fine. Some people are like that. They maybe forgive, but don't forget, and they, one shot and it's done. But there are people who believe CM Punk has been trying to get fired because he couldn't get out of his contract by legal means after a Brawl Out. So what do? You try to do everything to get fired. Because why did he come out and attack Hangman Page? Because he knew legally he couldn't. He would be in legal failure if he went after the Bucks or Kenny Omega, but he went after Hangman for no reason after a show, and it's an obvious attack on him. And then we had the issue with Jack Perry, and then he got into another fight that just doesn't seem like it just doesn't. Why would you get in another fight? You've already had this big issue. Why would you get in a fight over something as stupid as, oh, it's real glass, cry me a river? So, I mean, there's people putting out this information that could make a lot of sense out of it, that maybe the intent this whole time since Phil Brooks has been back is to get fired. Maybe this is what he wanted. Maybe he thought if he got terminated, he would still be able to take his money and leave and get out from under his contract in AEW because he wasn't even happy there. Because we do go back and talk about the legal agreement. Go ahead.
I got one thought about that. During the brawl, when the first incident happened, there was talks of Tony Khan trying to buy him out. He was going to give him all he was worth.
And we know CM Punk went legal. We know CM Punk was the one who went legal. And at that time, Punk even said he wanted out. We know Punk wanted out. There was a big fight back and forth about. So maybe Tony Khan didn't offer him enough, or it just couldn't work out that way. But I mean, it's hard to say. And you look at it now going, well, he did make those comments about Hangman immediately after coming back. Like, it was not, and it wasn't like there was no reason. There was no feud. Hangman hadn't said anything about him. Nobody had pushed the buttons with him. And just all of a sudden, and Punk's not stupid. I'm sorry. Punk is a very brilliant man. And you just can't see Punk doing this stuff. It just does. It really doesn't make sense. I mean, I get you can have a short temper and snap, but it's just like the severity of this issue for Tony Khan to come on Collision and look the way he did and say the things he stated. It seems like there was so much more behind this that we're never going to know, and that's fine. It doesn't, it is what it is. But I mean, it's just mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you're going to end up that unhappy, why'd you come back in the first place?
I don't know. I mean, if he was forced back in and he just decided he was going to do whatever it took to get fired. So I mean, he immediately went after Hangman. We know he went after Ryan Nemeth. And maybe that was a little more justified. We know he had the issue with Christopher Daniels. We know he had the issue with Matt Hardy. There was somebody else in that group that I'm forgetting now. But it was like all the stuff spilt out all of a sudden that we're just like, what the, huh? Like, why is there any issue?
Yeah.
Punk should come back, wrestle, do his job. They gave him a whole freaking show, let him bring back out the title and call it the Real World's title. I mean, what more can you give a guy? And now we're sitting here looking at this going, this none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense. Unless you really look at it and go, it feels like Punk was going to get fired. Punk wanted to get fired. So I don't know.
It's a primitive thing, you know.
It's a theory. It's a theory. There's nothing on pen and paper, but a lot of it makes sense. And of course, my thing is, why would you want to get fired from getting $6 million a year? You're already, I mean, goes through. He was getting $6 million for 2 years. $12 million is what he was due. I don't get that. Unless, my only other theory, and here's the thing. Remember, when CM Punk was out suspended and injured, he showed up to an event in the WWE event in Chicago. I believe it was a Raw or something.
Yes.
And it was discussed that he talked to Triple H and that him and Triple H made peace. Like, he went looking for forgiveness from Triple H and a lot of people in the locker room. He went and talked to The Miz and put their beef to sleep, I guess. And he went to the WWE event, went to the locker room, talked to as many people as he could, talked to Triple H. And again, let me reiterate this very clearly. He was at a Monday Night Raw in Chicago. He was backstage. He talked to Triple H. Triple H said, I don't care if you're here. Triple H did not care that CM Punk was there. He didn't have an issue with it, but he did say, I have to ask the big guy. So we know that means Vince McMahon. Once Vince McMahon was called, it was Vince McMahon's decision to say, no, I don't want Punk there. And many obvious reasons. A, at that time he was under AEW contract. And so you have to say, where's the fine line between having somebody from AEW in your locker room that you already have trust issues with? I mean, you know, we know Vince and CM Punk do not get along. B, we have the CM Punk Vince McMahon history where we don't know where Vince stands with CM Punk right now. Now, after a lot of this, I think Vince has came out and said he's willing to do business with Punk, but what that really means and what that entails, we don't know. And it's also been stated that when WWE got signed on to Fox, Fox offered WWE to, if they would go get CM Punk, sign CM Punk, Fox was willing to pay his contract. So Fox wanted.
And the best thing he did was bring him to an after show.
Well, they did. That was the only thing they could get an agreement. So, but they were willing to pay CM Punk's contract to have him back on Fox. And they paid for his contract to be on there. WWE didn't pay a single dime for him to be on the Fox show. So, my only other theory is, what if CM Punk's getting fired to go back to WWE? And I know that's a long shot. I know that sounds crazy. I know people are going to get on here and go, oh, I'm going to WWE, Mark. You just think CM Punk's leaving AEW, now he's going to go to WWE. But I'm like, why would you get fired from a $6 million a year job on a 2-year contract when you could have a chance to renegotiate after that if you were going to still stay around? Obviously, it seems that he has some backstage something, and I mean, you had a future there, so there was probably money there. He probably could have stayed on his future. Tony Khan trusted him to enough an extent that he has some play and power. So I mean, it's like, why would you really walk? I mean, if you hated the place and hated everybody you're working with, fine. But I mean, why wouldn't you just tell Tony Khan, I don't like it here, I quit? I think Tony Khan's one of the few people. It's not a Vince McMahon. I don't think Tony Khan's going to be like, oh, you don't like it here, you don't want to be here, tough, you got to fill out your contract. Now, granted, Tony Khan might go, okay, well, if you don't want to be here, we can do something, but, you know, I'm not going to pay you, you know, everything that we agreed on.
Unless CM Punk, like we said, CM Punk's dumb. Unless there's a clause in his contract saying if he does get let go, he gets a percentage of it. I mean,
I think he got the reason they're stating he got let go with cause is to cover their ass. AEW is trying not to pay Punk.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So I don't know what's an initial Punk's contract. I don't know. But I mean, if you hated it that bad and were that disappointed and hated everybody there and hated everything about it and you wanted out, I would think Tony Khan would be the one person that you could go to and at least sit down with him and negotiate a way out. Even if you had something in your clause, I even think Tony Khan would be like, look, you gave me, you know, here, let me give you $6 million for this year. We'll cut our ties. You get $6 million. You don't even have to fulfill the contract, and we'll call it a day, and we'll all be happy and we'll be friends. I mean, I don't think Tony Khan would just do Punk like totally dirty, except now that Punk's done what he's done. But I mean, it's just like Tony Khan doesn't come off. I mean, he's not always the brightest. Yes, he's a fanboy. Yes, sometimes we wish he would step up. And for once, I will say Tony Khan stepped up and did the right thing. Tony Khan stepped up and made a choice where it was defined. He showed that, I'm taking this seriously and doing it. You can tell he's not excited about it. The fanboy in him is not happy about it. But being the boss, being the position he is, he finally did something that says, yeah, I got to take this seriously and show that I'm not just a punk. No point intended. But
there you go,
I don't
brother.
know. I mean, it's really interesting if we add all the pieces together. Punk got in the brawl out. Punk seemed fine until brawl out happened. Well, I mean, he wasn't happy with some of the things going on, but it didn't seem like that big of an issue. He went out on suspension. He was injured. He came back, but while he was out injured, he wound up at, I think he went to several different wrestling events in different places. I think he even went to an Impact taping. I don't remember. But we know for a fact.
He did.
He did, see? But the big thing is we know he went to a WWE show, which was the biggest shocker because we're like, why would he be there? And then it was announced he made peace with The Miz. It was announced that he made peace with Triple H. It was stated that Triple H said, I don't care if you're here. Triple H had no problem with him being there. It was ultimately up to Vince McMahon, who told them that no, Punk can't be there. And there was an issue with Punk. Like, when they came back, when security came and said, hey, Punk, we can't have you here, Punk didn't throw a fit. Punk didn't get